runner-up is District of Columbia, so that means the United States of America's Misses is Virginia! Congratulations and welcome to the sisterhood. Go ahead and take your first walk.
Hello, my name is Hannah LeTourneau, and I'm the current United States of America's Misses 2023. I've been involved in pageantry for 14 years, and I've competed as a teen, a miss, and now a misses. I've competed in USOA for the past 3 years, and ultimately was able to capture the national title in Las Vegas back in March. So my journey to the crown has been a long one. It actually started when I was just almost 14 years old. Started at 13. I was a theater kid, so I wanted to find a way that I could still be on stage and be able to perform, because I was in that awkward teenage stage. I wasn't an adult, but I wasn't a child anymore, and so I couldn't get either role. So my grandmother actually suggested that I would start competing in the Miss America organization because they have talent. And I found out that they had a teen division. So that's ultimately what started my journey through pageantry. I thought it would literally just be a one-time thing. And here I am 14 years later. So I started my very first pageant, had no idea what I was doing. It was a mess. It was so bad. No coaching. I was going in blind completely. And I fell in love with pageantry. I loved being on stage. I loved performing. I loved the interview piece of it, being involved in my community. And it's something that I have been so passionate about. I am the happiest when I'm on stage competing in a pageant. It's something that helps me focus on bettering myself and gives me a goal to keep chasing. So I started in teen, then when I aged out of teen, I went directly to Miss America. I've done Teen USA, I've done Miss America, I've done International Junior Miss, I've done collegiate, I've now done USOA, United States of America's Misses pageants. And as soon as I got married, I knew that I wanted to be able to compete as a missus, and that's kind of my journey to the crown. Okay. So my biggest supporter is definitely my mom, and she supported me through every hobby and every venture that I've ever done. Sitting in a freezing cold horse barn or ice rink when I did horses or figure skating, to the blistering sun as well for horses, and then now through pageantry. And it honestly brought my mom and I closer. She would go to every appearance that I was at. She's never missed a single pageant that I've ever done from the time that I'm a teen now to a missus. She still comes to all of my pageants. She's always constantly asking how she can help. She is one of the loudest cheers in the crowd, and she's somebody that has just taken it on and run with it. So she tries to understand what I'm doing, would help me interview prep and walking and help with gown selection, and she's just such a huge support and has continued to support me, and it's something that I am completely grateful for, because I wouldn't have been able to go through this whole entire journey without my mom. So how I've persevered through all of my losses, because I've done it for 14 years. I've lost more than I'm probably ever going to win. I'm a big believer in that I'm 9 no's away from a yes, or in my case, 13 no's away from a yes, since it took me 14 years to do this. But I've learned if I was to ever give up, that's actually when I truly fail. If I stopped, then I'm never gonna achieve something that I've dreamed about. And I just kept going after the title because that was my end goal and nothing was going to stop me. So I had to get out of my own way. I kept thinking back to all of my losses. I like to always say that I am the biggest first loser that is out there. I have been first runner-up more times than I can count. But I had to take a step back and realize that that doesn't define who I am. And yes, I have been first runner-up, second runner-up, top 10, top 15, and never have been the state title holder or the national title holder. And I couldn't let that continue to define me each and every single year, because it's a new year, it's a different set of judges. And so this year I wanted to go in as the best version of myself, and that's exactly what I did. I was 100% authentic to Hannah LeTourneau. everything that I did, I wanted it to best represent me and who I am as a person and my family. And it made the win that much sweeter knowing that I won 100% authentically as myself. And I wouldn't have been able to get to this point without all of the losses prior. The loss that definitely sticks out to me the most was I was first runner-up in 2011. I was Miss River City Outstanding Teen, and I knew if I came back that it would be my year. I was competing for Miss Missouri Outstanding Teen, and of course, I'm 16 years old. That's a time that you're just kind of finding yourself, and a lot of emotions you have the peaks and the lows, and I thought if I worked so hard, no one would be able to tell me no, because I was first runner-up. There was only one spot to go, and that was to be the state title holder. I worked harder than I ever have to win that state title, and I ended up being third runner-up, and that loss hurt so bad. I cried and cried and cried and wondered why I wasn't good enough, or why they didn't pick me this year, or why I couldn't move up a spot, or what had changed. I thought I got better. I didn't think that I took a step back. And that loss was so pivotal because I didn't like how it felt. I didn't like the way that I lost. I didn't like that it felt like world ending to me. It's a pageant. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel like the world is coming to an end. It's supposed to be a hobby. I also understand, though, that I was 17 years old. And so when you're a teenager, losses are going to hurt a little bit differently. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad because you've worked so hard, but you can't dwell in it. And that's what I was doing, is I kept dwelling in that loss. And that was such a pivotal moment for me, where I learned so much from that loss, of that I'm never going to lose this way again. I can be sad. It can hurt. I can be frustrated and angry, but I'm never going to dwell in it and allow it to affect me the way that it did. It doesn't take away from the hard work that I've put in. It doesn't take away from who I am as a person. And it doesn't mean that I'm not necessarily the best person for that title, because pageantry is a subjective sport. It's something that you have to get 5 people to all agree at once. Is this person the right person to win this title? And I mean, how hard is it to get 5 people to agree to go to the same restaurant, let alone to get one winner at the end of the day? And so when I was able to finally understand that, it made this pageant journey completely change for me and made it even more enjoyable for myself. So the moment when it finally happened for me, I actually didn't believe that it was going to, because I've competed in USOA for 3 years. So this was my 3rd year. I was first runner-up in 2020. I was second runner-up in 2021. And like every other pageant, you go into it and people tell you, it's your year, it's your time. And done it for 14 years, and it has never once been my time. So I just wanted to go in as the best version of myself. And I will say that the national pageant this year, it felt different. From the time that I stepped foot in the hotel room to stepping on that stage to being just in Vegas in general, it felt completely different. It felt a peace, a sense of calmness, that I was so overly prepared that it didn't matter if they selected me or not. I was the best version of myself. And if they didn't see it, that's okay, because I'll just keep coming back. They're gonna get tired of me, it's fine. But that evening, I can remember so vividly every phase of competition. And normally I get really nervous for onstage question. And I remember being backstage, they put noise canceling headphones on, and that's normally when I start feeling like the butterflies in my stomach. And I didn't feel that. And I walked out on stage and they asked me my question, and there was such a sense of just calmness and peace and just knowing that it's okay. I didn't feel nervous at all when I went on stage for half them calling who's the first runner-up, the second runner-up, the winner. And I was standing hand in hand with my best friend, Tabby, and I didn't care at that moment because I knew that my first runner-up would have done as good of a job as I would as the national title holder. And that sense of peace and calmness was just rushed over me. And then I heard Virginia, and I lost it. I started screaming. I'm actually kind of glad that everybody was clapping so loud, because the sounds that came out of me were just like, I've never made sounds like that before. I was screaming so loud and jumping up and down and crying. I always told my mom if I ever won a national title that I would be an ugly crier, and I was. And the only thing that I could think of is immediately when they were placing the crown on my head is I wanted to find my husband, Nick, and I wanted to find my mom. And because it wasn't just my journey to the crown, it was a group effort. And it is something that I will never forget, that feeling, for the rest of my life. And even when I compete in other systems and continue on through my pageant journey of competing or coaching, this win will hold such a special place in my heart for the rest of my life. So does the high, I guess, how long has the high lasted from winning? I've had the title for 6 months now, and it's still like, I look at it and I don't believe that it's real. It hasn't really lost its luster for me. I feel so grateful that I'm able to represent a system that I love so much, and it feels like my home. But I really didn't get to enjoy the win the way that I thought I would, because I had to go to Miami the next day for work. So we had a product launch in Miami. I had my flight booked to leave at 12 o'clock on Monday morning. And after I was crowned, instead of thinking about like, I'm gonna go to this photo shoot tomorrow, I've dreamed about this, I walk out and the first thing that I say to my husband when I see him is, I have to change my flight to Miami, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Like, I need to go to Miami. But I had a winner's photo shoot the next day. I had a contract signing. I had all these things that I had obligations to do. And it was actually my husband in that moment that said, you've worked for this for 14 years. And if you don't take this moment in and take a moment to pause, you will probably regret it for the rest of your life. And I 100% agree with him. Like, if I would have rushed to Miami and had prioritized a work event over just soaking in something that I had personally been working and striving towards for 14 years, I will never have that moment of winning USOA Mrs. 2023 ever again in my life. And I was able to truly enjoy those moments and go to the photo shoot, enjoy it with my sister queens, and then somehow make it to Miami. I had a flight that was a red eye that left out of Las Vegas, took me to Seattle, Washington, flew out of there at 1 a.m., and I got to Miami at 5 a.m., had to be at a work meeting by 7:30, and I changed in the Uber with my hair and makeup from my photo shoot the day before, and had meetings all day long with the heads of our company and all of our dealers and launching this product. I will never forget it. I was on such a high. I came home and it hit me when I was in the car riding back from the airport with my husband. I started to cry on the way back. That is actually making me emotional, that I did it. And I never thought that I would ever be able to accomplish that. I had so many people tell me that I never would. And that I was finally able to do that is something I will always have these emotions about this title, because it means so much to me. And then I came home and he had set out this amazing congratulations USOA Mrs. 2023 in our yard, and I cried more. So I will never forget. The high will never stop because of how hard I've worked to be in this position now, and it's something that no one can ever take that away from me. And I'm so proud and honored, and I will be that crazy person that still talks about this like in their 80s, that I won USOA Mrs. 2023. Oh my gosh. So we don't have like 4 hours to talk about my husband, because I am obsessed with him. He is by far my biggest cheerleader. Nick is not a pageant guy. Like, when you think of like a typical red-blooded American man, like there's probably a picture of my husband next to it. He's a fighter pilot in the Air Force. He grew up on a horse ranch. He is somebody that loves the outdoors. He's very masculine, manly, and you don't think about that in pageantry. And it's something that I love, though, and he's so supportive of what I'm focused on and my goals and ambitions. And I ended up meeting Nick in 2016, and I met him in Denver, Colorado when I was out there for my job interview, actually with the company that I'm currently with. And I actually wasn't competing in pageants at the time, so he didn't know exactly what he was getting into. He knew I was a pageant girl, but I don't think he actually knew what was included in that. And it wasn't until we ended up getting married in 2018 that I thought, I want to get back into this. I want to get back in my hobby and my passion. And he ended up coming to my very first pageant and really got to see what it was like. And then he actually missed nationals my very first year at USOA. I had a military prior engagement. He watched the live stream though with his friends, and that's one thing I'll always say, like, if he's not there, he's watching on the live stream. He is so supportive in everything that he does. He'll always send me flowers. He sends me text messages after every phase of competition to tell me how I did, give me feedback. Like, he's one of those, if I'm not on my A game, I want him to be honest, and he is very honest with me, like, hey, slow down, or hey, smile more. Because that's what I've asked him to do. That's how supportive he is. He runs with it. He'll ask me interview questions to prep me. He'll listen to me go on and on for hours and hours about obsessing about the title that I want. And I know that he's listening, but at least give me feedback with it, even though we're going on hour 4 of me talking about this pageant that I'm competing in. And with every single pageant that I go to, he always wears a shirt with my face on it. It never fails. And this year, I wanted something big, so we actually did like a military party sleeve shirt. So every night was a different Hannah shirt. So we started out with the OG Hannah shirt with my face on it. Then we went to a new one, and then we ended it out with a shirt that had my face all over the sleeves, and then the back was my headshot. And of course, if he didn't have his jacket off, you couldn't see it. But actually, one of the girls said when I won, they knew who, they said, of course we knew who won on stage, but they're like, we knew who your husband was because we saw this Hannah face jump up in the audience. And they're like, there's Hannah's husband. And just the fact that he is so willing to also love the thing that I love and be so supportive, that means the world to me. We're a team. Competing as a married woman, it's not just about me anymore. It's about my marriage. It's about our family. And having his support, I couldn't do this without his support. And it doesn't matter if he's physically sitting in the audience or he's halfway around the world and he's deployed or at a TDY or something like that. He will always be so supportive, and that's something that I'll never be able to thank him enough for, because it's something that means so much to me. A lot of times I see a lot of girls that don't have that spouse support, and I don't necessarily know how they do it because I don't know how I'd do it without him.
My name is Nick LeTourneau, and I am the husband of the current 2023 United States of America's Mrs. Hannah LeTourneau. I met Hannah back when I was at the Air Force Academy in 2016. She had just moved out to Denver, and I met her. I was a hockey player at the time, so met her at a hockey rink, shared passion between the two of us. I went on to join the Air Force, and I've been in the Air Force ever since, and brought Hannah along for that journey as I've kind of gone along the journey with Hannah through pageants as well. A better question would be how it hasn't affected our lives. No, it's been awesome. Honestly, at first I didn't really understand. So when she started pageant, or when I started being involved in her pageants, I thought, you know what, little hobby that I'll kind of be a part of here and there, kind of like she's part of my hobbies here and there. And then I quickly realized after going to my first pageant that this is going to be a full-time job, and it's awesome. I love it. I love seeing how fierce she is when she does these, how persistent she is, and how it really brings out that inner competitive spirit in her, but also all the good she's done on the side of it, and that's really where the involvement comes in. She's allowed me to be part of a lot of the backstage stuff behind the scenes that no one gets to see, so making signs for some sort of parade we're going to be in, or tying together blankets after hours, getting to go with and see all the positive impacts that she has. It's all kind of really cool involvement that I get to do, but it's all the time. It's a nonstop job for her, and I'm just lucky to be part of it every once in a while. Absolutely, Hannah is still that undying breath of support for me all the time, and the only way that we make this whole thing work about both of us having jobs and her having this crazy passion she has is that I do support back the same level. With the level of support we provide to each other, it makes those little ripples in the water seem like they're not even there because you've got the other person there to constantly support you. So it hasn't really flipped. It's just an added layer that I think most people don't see because it's maybe not always required in everyone's, but for us it absolutely is. For the other side, oh yeah, I see it. I see a lot of the parallels. I think it's a community-wide thing in pageants, especially in United States of America pageant that she's now in. Those guys are awesome. I've gotten to know a lot of them. We have our own little culture back there in the cheap seats. but it's definitely starting to grow, partially due to Hannah allowing me to get a little bit crazy with the shirts and the other stuff. And I think guys have seen that and been encouraged by their wives to participate in that way too. But no, it's a whole great group of dudes who at the pageants, obviously where I get to know them best, seeing them out there carrying 7 different bags or learning how to put ponytails in or braid hair. I'm sure it wasn't always the thing that they dreamed as like a young boy growing up they'd be doing, and I don't think any of them would wish they were anywhere else in the moment. I want to lie to you about this and tell you it was my idea, but I can't. It was actually an idea that stemmed from Hannah, and then we just carried it through. She said, "What if you did?" And I think she said it a little bit jokingly the first time she said it. And then I was like, "I would do that. Yeah, let's go." And she's like, "Wait, really? You would actually wear that?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Bigger the better, the crazier the better. Sounds good. I'm here. I'm all in." So it stemmed kind of from her a little bit. I ran with it. The military party shirts are obviously always a thing. So we also do Hawaiian shirts quite a bit in the fighter community. So it started with a Hawaiian shirt. Actually, it started even further back with a Queen of the North shirt that she made. It was a T-shirt. It said Queen of the North, and it had her face on the front. That was the very, very first one. And from there, I went to a Hawaiian shirt, which she got for me well in advance. We ordered well in advance. And from there, I tried to wear it out all the time prior to the pageant. She's like, "You can't wear it out. You're going to spoil it." And so I wanted to wear it out with my friends all the time. Then we wore it to the pageant. It was awesome. And from there, I got the question asked constantly when she wasn't around, because when she was around, all the attention obviously on her, but when I'm by myself, I get to sport my cool shirt, and everyone asks me, "Dude, what are you wearing next? What's the next pageant shirt?" And that's kind of how I was born. So you got to give the people what they want, and they want more of my wife's face, so we gave it to them. Honestly, did I feel that she was going to win that last year leading up to it, like this is it all coming together? I felt that way every time. And you know what, maybe you could say it's like a little bit of like looking through rose-colored glasses or false optimism, but with her, that's not the case. I mean, I've seen her be so successful. I mean, to her, obviously, she's going to be her biggest critic. But to me, watching her walk through state pageants year after year and always get so stinking close. I mean, you were talking about the top of the top, the best of the best at the finishing position she's in these pageants. So I've seen her be successful every time, and every time feels like, you know what, this is her year. This is her year. And I think it's always just built on each other. I don't think I've ever felt less like this is, oh, she's off her game today. It always seems like it's the best. But how did I feel the moment she won? I blacked out a little bit. I legitimately had already lost my voice the day prior from the lead up to it. So I think it was just some high-pitched squeal out of me that was like very quiet, and you could hear her mom yelling, and then my voice would catch itself every once in a while as I'm jumping up and down, like she said. I had all these great plans to like take a video reaction for her and everything, but I was so nail-biting on the edge of my seat, I totally even forgot to do that. And from there, the next thing I remember was she grabbed the roses, she got her crown, she looked out at me, and that was like a PowerPoint freeze frame in my mind for the rest of my life. So that's kind of like the big moment I remember. You'll see her in the video if you ever watch her reaction of her like reaching out and saying I did it, I think was the word she mouthed, and I was screaming back to her, "You did it." So it's like I remember that moment for sure. Sounds good. So I guess in general, I was thinking about like, okay, now she's won. What is it like? Is it like, I won the Super Bowl, I'm going to Disney, right? Get to take some time off a little bit, take a breather, maybe hang up the heels for a few weeks. And she took, there's like a story about Emmitt Smith after he won the Super Bowl, like doing bench press, and they said, "Hey, Emmitt, you gonna take a breather now that you won?" He's like, "Yep," and he like puts the weights up for 1 second, and then goes back down and keeps doing bench press. He's like, "There's my break." That's my wife, like with pageantry. So after she won, she legitimately hit the ground and started spinning her tires and peeled out, and has absolutely been attacking every opportunity she can to volunteer in the community, grow the system, and I would say bring more women into pageantry, not just to grow her own system, but just grow the entire idea of pageantry for all different women who might have thought that maybe pageantry is not for me, or maybe it's out of date. And it's like the feedback has been resounding. It's been unbelievable. Like I've done love pedals with her multiple times. We've been able to go out and do blanket drives, hospice visits, all sorts of just awesome impacts. And so as much as I thought maybe she would like take a little bit of a break afterwards, it's actually unlocked so much potential for her to do good and raise awareness in ways that I think not having that national crown doesn't necessarily always give you. It's just unlocked doors to even do more good. And that's, I think, the way she viewed it and the way that she's definitely acted throughout this entire time after winning. Additionally, on top of all this, so she's a businesswoman, she's got her pageant stuff going, she is the mom of 3 dogs, she has to deal with my military career, and then just on top of this started her own pageant consulting business to try and even spread more good and more specific one-on-one help for other girls. And watching that just take off and be such a success for her has been really, really cool to watch as well. Oh, and I didn't even say, on top of all of this, getting her master's degree. So the list goes on and on. It's amazing to watch. So, I mean, doing all these things, thinking about how do we even make time for each other, I think there's like one thing Hannah actually said in her in one of her onstage questions was like, how do you juggle all of these things in your life? It was an onstage question of hers, and I would echo it to say planning and scheduling is like the number one big thing. But another thing that we try to do, and I think what's really why we have such a successful marriage in a lot of ways, is that we share a lot of interests. So doing a lot of these things in the company of one another is our time together is kind of the biggest thing. Like, we are not just doing this as work. We're not doing this because it's something we owe someone or we feel like we have to. It's because we enjoy to do it. Hannah enjoys doing it, and I enjoy helping her and or doing these things in her company as well. So if you got to do schoolwork next to your best friend. If you gotta or like want to go volunteer, see if your husband wants to go volunteer with you. And obviously, I love doing all those things. If I have a military TDY, well, what are you doing the first couple days? Maybe you're just getting settled. Hannah, you want to come out? Like, those are the kind of ways that we just find time to make for each other. And it's not a chore, it's not a job. It's just something that's become a natural way of life for us. Yeah, like advice for the guys when they're getting started being a pageant husband and all of that. I think early on, you got to kind of learn your place as far as what like your wife needs. So support's like the assumption, right? Like the baseline assumption. Everyone wants support, and you know the best way you can give support is the way you should do it. So whether it's shirts or yelling loud or getting your wife a coffee when she first wakes up, like that's all great. What took me a little longer to realize, and I think I wish someone had told me when I got into pageantry, was taking a second to step back and realize where you maybe don't need to give support, and it may be something that your wife or your significant other needs to do for themselves, essentially like not being a helicopter husband, for instance. That coupled with initiative, though. So that's the stuff that comes with time, seeing where their blind spots are. They're so busy. For instance, my wife, during like a pageant, no kidding, a pageant, she's running around getting photos taken or makeup at 4 a.m. or doing her hair. I mean, like, she'll forget to eat and, like, not asking her, hey, are you hungry? No, just know what she wants to eat. She wants TGI Fridays. She wants some glazed whiskey chicken legs or whatever, and then going to get them and just showing up because she is busy. She's got other things to deal with. And seeing those blind spots and really, like, covering her on those blind spots was the thing that took me a while to realize, like, what is she going to forget? Is she going to forget her makeup? Is she going to forget a water bottle? Like, looking for those ways to support without being asked to support, I think, took me a while. And I think I'm finally starting to get the hang of it right at the right time now.
So as you can see, I've got my lovely shiny hat and special banner on. I absolutely love my USOA crown and sash because it is something that I've dreamed about this crown sitting on my head for now going on 4 years. But the thing that I've loved so much about USOA is that it actually has shown me how to be the best version of myself at a pageant, and that it's not just about this crown and banner, and that I need to focus on being the best version of myself and self-growth and competing as Hannah LeTourneau. I always tried to find how I could fit a pageant mold, how I could best fit a system to try to win the title. And finally this past year, people always ask, well, what changed? How did you find success to win the title? What was different? And it's the fact that I stopped trying to be anybody else but Hannah LeTourneau. And it obviously worked out very well, which I'm very excited about. But the thing that I'm the most excited about this year is being able to bring more women into this organization, because USOA is just, it's so special. Our motto, uplift, empower, inspire, and being able to champion that every single day as the national USOA Misses, being able to grow the system. Right now, I'm so excited about this. We have only 17 Mrs. titles left. So that means that our division is going to be completely full next year in San Antonio, Texas. And that was my goal, and my mission was to grow the system in this organization, not just the Misses, but trying to grow Teen, Miss, and Ms. along with my division. The organization is something that, like, the prize package is just second to none. If we have over 40 girls, the winner of the USOA winner gets $10,000 cash. I've never seen an organization do something like this, along with the prize package that you just get with all the other amazing goodies and sponsored swag. And USOA Sisterhood, too, is just something that it's lasting, and it's something that you don't really see too often in pageantry, is a sisterhood that continues on after a national pageant is done. And that is something that I am so grateful for. Some of my best friends have come from this system, and it truly is a sisterhood. It's girls that truly support you. They want the best for you. They support you in all your endeavors, and it lasts outside of a pageant. And I think that speaks so well of the type of organization that USOA is, the kind of director that we have, the kind of state queens that we have, and the staff support. And USOA is just, to me, it's home. And I love this system, and I'm so honored to be able to champion and grow USOA. And I said in my onstage question at Nationals this year, I'd put more than 200 women on that stage, and I'm getting close to it, so fingers crossed.
I got the magic touch.
Hi, I'm Hannah Fox, and I'm your Miss Metro KC 2015. And I cordially want to invite you to the Miss Kansas pageant for the 60th anniversary in Pratt on June the 6th. Please go like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to follow our journey to the crown. Fun fact about Miss Kansas: we've given $3.1 million annually in scholarships. Who knew that one swimsuit pageant can turn into such an amazing scholarship pageant? I hope you follow that yellow brick road all the way to Pratt, Kansas, to watch one lucky lady be crowned Miss Kansas and receive a job of a lifetime. I hope to see you there.
Just like Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. You're breaking ceilings, there ain't nothing that is holding you down. You're on a rocket ship to galaxies no one's ever found. You got that it thing. Expect